Kelsey, and welcome to Duke's Yard Homestead. This week I have been working a lot more. Outside of the homestead, I'm a historian, so I do contract work around the state, and I'm really looking forward to some of the projects I have going on. But when that happens, when I start working more, when I have more contracts, I don't do as much on the homestead. Eventually I hope to be able to transition to this full time, but right now I'm just not there yet. So today I am checking on the chickens. They're not happy with me. They haven't seen me. And I'm also going to put out some sure water for the bees. I don't want to crack open their hives because we're still going to get some cold weather, but I do want to provide some supplemental feed for them. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to move some bee supplies from inside, outside, just things around. Nothing really set in stone. It's the afternoon. I've also checked on the eggs. They are at 7 days today. I have not candled them today. I did candle them on Saturday. There wasn't a lot of development going on that you could see yet, mostly because of dark shell eggs, but I am going to candle them again on the following Saturday, and I'll candle every single egg during that, and I'll record that process. But so far everything's going good with the incubator. Things are running the way they should. Our temperature's right, our humidity's right, and we are down from 21 days to 14, so 2 weeks to go. But I'm gonna get the bees fed, I'm gonna play with the chickens, and do a few random things around the homestead. Join me as we go through this. So to feed the bees, I have no idea if this is going to work or not, but I have a tray for seed pods or cell starts, and then I have the small cell starts. What I'm going to do is going to put it backwards, I believe. I don't know, I might put it straight down, but anyway, and then I'm going to pour the sugar water into this, and then that way the bees have somewhere to rest. I've seen all kinds of feeders where, you know, you put rocks down, or people suggest putting pool noodles if you have a pool, because your bees are going to go to it. So I'm hoping that this will work. Got my sugar water, going to try it. I also I got a few more things to look around to see what I got, but see if I can find a little clay dish to pour some in as well. So that's what we're doing. And I am really interested to see how long it takes them to find that. So we'll see. Right now there's not any on it, but they're kind of flying around it. I wasn't sure if they were going to be flying today. It's been on the cooler side, but they are clearly flying today. That makes me happy. Today we are going to work on getting this smaller hoop house put together. It's just a 10 by 7, but it is an upgrade from what we're used to using here on the homestead, and then I have the small one there too. So if we get this one done, we'll start on that one. I still need to finish pouring the rocks in, get some more sand. I haven't gone to Lowe's yet, but plan to do that this weekend. But I have a little bit of time today, so I'm going to start working on this, getting this greenhouse together. greenhouse held through the night. I was a little worried. I got cinder blocks holding it down. I also got it tied down, but it hung in good. It's always nerve-wracking when you put something new up and you're not sure how it's going to hold up or what's going to happen. Still got a lot of work to do out here, but the greenhouse is done. Oh, it has been a couple of days since I have worked out in the yard. It's been cold. The chickens are everywhere. They're so excited to be out. But it's been cold, but today it's finally back warm, and I'm going to work on getting a smaller greenhouse put together, and then I'm not sure what else, maybe a couple other things. Our seeds came in, so we're going to go through our Baker Creek order at some point. But first I'm going to start on a greenhouse. What I'm going to do, the plan is to use the greenhouse that I built last week, and I'm going to put a smaller greenhouse on the inside of it, so hopefully I can start my seeds in there without any electricity. I try to do as much as I can without being on the grid. Of course, I am on the grid with my home, but you know, with building and moving forward, I've always tried to not use heating mats or lights, that sort of thing, just to cut down on cost. And if I do need heating mats, I do have two where I'll germinate inside and then bring them outside. So we'll see how that goes. But that's what I'm going to do today. I'm picking back up on working on the greenhouse, and it's 70 degrees. It's January 19th, I believe, and I'm outside in shorts. Well, not shorts, but short sleeves and leggings. So join me as we continue working on getting ready for our 2023 season. Ooh. So today I worked on building the second greenhouse. It is inside of the big greenhouse. And we're going to try that experiment with starting seeds. And then I also did a little bit of clearing in the back property between the beds and getting that area kind of prepped, because I'm going to build some new beds back there. And I still have to add more leaves and sticks and twigs and vegetation, dead vegetation into the beds before I put soil in and compost in. And so I started trying to get a headway on that earlier today. But this evening, I'm so daggone excited. My Baker Creek order came in earlier this week, and I have not opened it yet. And I didn't order as many seeds as I normally do. I have a lot left over, and I saved some from last year. And I plan on buying some locally as well. But I wanted to open this and talk about some of the things that we're going to be growing in the 2023 season and some of the plant starts that we'll have available soon. I'm going to do multiple rounds of starting. I'm going to start some seeds coming up this weekend, and so I can have some larger plants to go into the ground after the frost date. And I also plan on selling some plant starts at a couple of different events. And I'll start those in a couple of weeks, and then I will also start some more a little bit later, so we'll have like 3 successions, and maybe even going into 4. Last year I did 2. I started way too many the first go round, and yeah, so I'm kind of scaling back this year. I'm still going to sell some. I'm obviously going to put some in the garden, but I'm just not going to have as many as I normally do. And you're going to get to see the kitties. Miss Scarlet is in the box over here. She's scratching. I'm still putting away some Christmas decorations. And my lady is jumping on the table. So they're part of the team too. And when I'm inside, wherever I am, so are the kitties. So you got to meet Miss Scarlet before. Now you're meeting my lady. My lady's 13 or 14 years old. She could be older, but I'm guessing 13 or 14. I've had her for about 6 years. She came from an older lady that I used to be friends with, and when she had to move and go into a nursing home, I ended up with one of her kitties. So my lady's a sweet girl. All right, so back to this Baker Creek order, and I'm gonna see if I can get her out of the way. Kind of, so you can see what we got in here. Again, so excited. I do get seeds from other places as well, not just Baker Creek. I do like Johnny's. All my sunflowers have come from Johnny's. All the sunflowers I grew last year, and I will be placing an order there too. I like getting seeds from a variety of places. So, all right. So we're just gonna go through these. I can't wait to show you some of my favorites. So, got just some classic beef stock, tomatoes. I got a lot of tomatoes in here. I got some Abe Lincoln tomatoes. I got Kellogg's Breakfast. I've grown these before and they were pretty cool. I'm looking forward to having them again. I did not grow them last year, but I did grow them in 2020 and 2021. And they were nice to have. And last year I really focused on smaller tomatoes, Romas, grapes, and smaller varieties. And a lot of folks at the market wanted big slicers, so we're gonna do some more Roma and grapes because I really like growing those, especially in our partial shade beds. We're gonna do some big slicers this year as well. I should have went through and organized these a little bit. Before starting, but oh, and talking about tiny tomatoes, the free seeds. So when you order, I think it's over $35 from Baker Creek, you get a free seed pack. And the free seed pack that we got were spoon tomatoes. And so again, I really like tiny tomatoes. I like growing tiny tomatoes. So this is perfect for me. So we'll add that in. We'll throw a few of those in some of our first starts. Then we have just your regular things, you know, Boston pickling cucumbers, the Market More cucumbers. Last year that was one of the biggest things we sold was cucumbers. We sold a lot of cucumbers. Our cucumbers did great. I ran them on a trellis, and I will do that forever as long as I can. I highly recommend, especially if you're in Zone 7B, you're dealing with high humidities, hot summer. I grow in partial shade where I have my cucumbers, and I also grow them vertically to cut down on powdery mildew, pests, and all sorts of things like that. But we got our cucumbers, and I'm gonna sort these as we go. All right, with peppers, we're gonna grow some Anaheims. Green chilies are one of my favorite things to eat. I have successfully grown these here before, and hopefully not last year. Again, a lot of the stuff that I didn't grow a whole lot of things that I normally grow last year. I just kind of slowed it down and stuck to some basics, and actually ended up not getting very many peppers. So we're going to try to focus on right soil, right everything for peppers this year, because I would really like to put some up. But we got Anaheims. I also saw these when I was going through the catalog, Baker Creek's catalog, and then also looking online. I come across these Pippin Golden Honey Peppers, and it's a multi-colored sweet pepper, and it's a beloved heirloom of the Philadelphia African American community, especially in the 1900s. That's when it started getting popular. And it's a delightful ornamental pepper that changes color and ripens to a vibrant orange. Folk artist Horace Pippin shared these seeds. So I have not tasted these peppers before, but I really thought that it had, one, an interesting background, two, the taste seems like it's going to be really good, so I'm excited to grow those. And then we also got another free seed in peppers. Every so often, however much money you spend, you get a free seed package. So, and this one is the teal pepper. I've never heard of this. But it's a blazing hot pepper, and it's little. The fruit ripens to a brilliant orange yellow. It has a lot of heat and complex fruity flavor. We like a lot of vinegar. Well, not a lot. We have vinegar-based barbecue sauce here in Eastern North Carolina. A lot of folks make vinegar, pepper in the jars and things like that. So maybe these will come in. It'll be interesting to try these guys. And I'll have to look up how to appropriately say them. Every year on the homestead, since the first year growing here, I have grown cucamelons, or Mexican sour gherkins. I have a trellis that is dedicated to them that moves around the garden, and it is beautiful. It takes them a while. Last year I used seeds from 2022, no, from 2021, and I did not think the cucamelons were going to come up, but a little bit later in the season they popped up and they ended up covering my entire 16-foot arch trellis from both sides, and got quite a bit of cucamelons. And one of the things I did at the farmer's market was went down, I had them with me. I did not sell any last year, but I had them available for people to try and taste and tell them about them, and photos of the vine. And that was one of my favorite things that I did at the farmer's market. It was a taste test of the cucamelons. So we will grow those again, and I needed some seeds. I did not save any of those after growing them. All right, we're gonna try a couple of different watermelons this year. I got Sugar Babies and I got Royal Golden watermelons. I have not tried growing watermelon here, mostly because I do not have a lot of space, or did not have a lot of space. But this year I'm gonna try to grow a couple of plants each of these, not to sell, just for personal consumption, to see what can be done, and taste some homegrown watermelon from here on the homestead. If that goes well, then I'll look into expanding either some in-ground areas or some more beds for doing that. With the space that I have, that's not something that I really want to focus on, but just because it takes so much space. And I miss a pepper. And I still got some California Wonders. I have not successfully grown these here on the homestead, which is a shame, because I love green peppers, sweet peppers, all of the above, from eating them raw to cooking with them. So I'm going to focus again this year really hard on peppers and getting them to grow here. The last time I said that I was focusing on eggplant, and I had tried to grow eggplant, and it just wasn't working. So one year, that's what I focused on the most, and I had more daggone eggplant than you can think of. I ended up growing 5 different varieties, your typical eggplant, like your Black Beauty eggplant. Then I grew a ghost eggplant, a white one, the Chinese or Japanese long fingers, and then a variegated one. I can't think of the name of it. And in that, I found these Melazane Rosa Dirotunda, and I call them Dirotunda because it's a hard name to pronounce, but it is a type of eggplant, and it originated out of Ethiopia, was cultivated by the Italians, but it is native to Ethiopia and had been using there in cooking for centuries. So I saw these and was like, I am going to grow these. not only because of the history and the background of how this plant became cultivated worldwide, and also how the resurgence of these seeds. But the description of them was that it tasted like a mix between an eggplant, a pepper, and a tomato, but it looks like a tomato. So I was like, I like all 3 of those things. This sounds delicious. And it talked about cooking it in ratatouille or grilled, and so yeah, grew them. They grew absolutely excellent here on the homestead. We shared them with other folks who were in the area close by, and they also were able to grow them really well here, and they loved them. The taste of them, it did not disappoint. Last year I did not have any seeds. I did not save any seeds from my first go round of growing them, and so I ordered some this year, and I'm really looking forward to having these back on the homestead and being able to mix that into dinners. Again, the Melazane Rosa Dirotunda eggplants, amazing. Look them up, try them out. I recommend that to people when they say, well, what's something you like growing that's not typical? That is it. I also picked up some gourds. I have birdhouse gourds. I also have some apple-shaped gourds, seeds that I'm going to plant. And I always plant gourds. I love the birdhouse gourds and how they looked, and I like drying them. And a few years ago, I grew loofah, dish gourds. And I did not do that the last couple of years. I tried last year with some seeds I had saved from plants I'd grown. Did not work. Gonna try again because I want to dry some out and put them in some soap. Squash. I got 3 different types of squash here. First, I love the white scallop squash, the patty pan squash. They are delicious. They were one of the things that I put in my boxes that I took to the farmer's market last year, and people were like, what is this? And then they tried it and they also loved it. So it's a very versatile squash, and I like growing them. Everybody around here wants early squash. The crook neck or the straight neck. I go with the crook neck. So I got a thing of those. I'll plant a couple of those plants. And then someone called me about these someone told me about these green striped Cushall squash. And they told me that they made pies out of them. And if I grew some, they would make some pies. So this is one of our wild card squashes we're going to grow this year. I haven't grown these before. Don't know a whole lot about them. But somebody I know wanted some and wants to make pies. So we're going to try that out. And I also got some okra. I got the heavy hitter okra and the Alabama red okra. And I also have some crimson and another type that from seeds I saved from last year that I grew here. And then into flowers. So that is the seeds that I have ordered. I have a whole lot of seeds to go with this that I will also start. A few things here and there just to get a variety. But yeah, that's like the vegetable, fruit things going on. Calendula. I have the worst time pronouncing the names of some of this stuff, and you know what? That's okay. If you do too, no big deal. I'm sure there is somewhere I can listen to it and hear it pronounced just fine, and I will work on that. But I got this because I've been seeing tons of salves and ointments and oils with the flowers and the leaves from this, and I want to work on making some of my own. It's also good for all kinds of things, and it's beautiful. So I'm looking forward to planting this. I'll have a designated area for this, probably in the same area where the bee balm is. And then zinnias. I had to really rein myself in on ordering zinnias, and I will probably get some more from other places because they're just one of my favorite flowers, and the ones that I grew last year were absolutely beautiful. They kept coming up and coming up. The more I cut, the more they came. That was really the first year I'd been successful with zinnias, and I really tried to plant them. So I loved having that bright pop of color in the garden. I had a lot of pinks and oranges, a few greens, a few of the queen limes, and some candy striped ones. And I still have some seeds from those. And like I said, I will probably order more than just these 4. But I got the red Superman cactus. Or not Superman, but super cactus. I got the Queen Lime orange because last year I got the Queen Lime blush and they were beautiful. I also got the polar bear. They're white. And then I got the Queen Lime blush again because they're just so beautiful. And I cannot wait to plant these, and along with everything else that I'm going to throw in the garden this year. I always throw in marigolds, which I have seeds galore of marigolds back there in my seed saving package, and I'll have to bring that out at some point and go through and organize what I'm going to plant out of it this year. And then also put my seeds in there. I like keeping them. I have a big binder, or I have a couple big binders with card placement holders in it where I put the seeds in. So it's easy accessible. And if I want to put them here, in a box as dry I can. If I want, I know people who put them in the freezer. I keep mine in my binders in a box, and like in a banker's box. Everything fits in there. Some point in the last month or so, the cats went into my spare room, knocked everything over, and everything's a hot mess. So I have to get that, together and organized. But eventually I will bring that out, talk about that, show you how I keep my seeds, and I will add these guys into there. But for now, I'm going to put them all back together, organized in the way that we just separated them. And then I am going... I'm going to check on the eggs. Our temperature has been running pretty perfectly. Our humidity has been fluctuating. We've been going from around 40-degree days to 70-degree days, back down to 30s, to the 50s, to the 40s. Like today was 70 degrees, and yesterday it was more like 45. So there's been some, I'm having to make sure, keep a super check on the humidity, but everything seems to be going fine. I have not candled them anymore. I will, and when I do, I'll make sure I record that. The last time I candled them was about a week ago, and I had to remove one. Ooh. So today I worked on building the second greenhouse. It is inside of the big greenhouse. And we're gonna try that experiment with starting seeds. And then I also did a little bit of clearing in the back property between the beds and getting that area kind of prepped because I'm gonna build some new beds back there. And I still have to add more leaves and sticks and twigs and vegetation, dead vegetation into the beds before I put soil in and compost in. And so I started trying to get a headway on that earlier today. But this evening, I'm so daggone excited. My Baker Creek order came in earlier this week, and I have not opened it yet. And I didn't order as many seeds as I normally do. I have a lot left over, and I saved some from last year. And I plan on buying some locally as well. But I wanted to open this and talk about some of the things that we're going to be growing in the 2023 season and some of the plant starts that we'll have available soon. I'm going to do multiple rounds of starting. I'm going to start some seeds coming up this weekend, and so I can have some larger plants to go into the ground after the frost date. And I also plan on selling some plant starts at a couple of different events. And I'll start those in a couple of weeks, and then I will also start some more a little bit later, so we'll have like 3 successions and maybe even going into 4. Last year I did 2.